as always, I get the best stories of organic divinity from working behind the chair. In fact, it'll take another lifetime for me to get through all of the amazing people and the stories and the lessons that they have taught me over the last 4 decades. And today I'm going to share this story of organic divinity that actually is symbolic of just what organic divinity is, because so many times as I begin to tell a story about this way of living this life on earth and in the organic way that we do, and how we connect and live this sense of divineness through our own religious beliefs and things of that nature. It's through that as I tell these stories, I am actually thinking out loud so many of the times. And so I am inspired by just telling the story to you, that it then just allows for the story to grow and become bigger and more beautiful as time goes on. I'm going to share this somewhat bit of a lengthy story. I'll try to keep it concise. But when you're talking about beautiful things, sometimes you just get carried away. And it's so beautiful. So hang in there with me as I tell you this particular story. Not long ago, I was in need of a surgical procedure that was going to keep me off of my feet for about 6 to 8 weeks. And as some of you may know, I work as a hairdresser, quite the professional hairdresser, behind the chair. And I work in this amazing little salon that has just a few of us in there. And to say that we were meant to work with each other is the most massive understatement that can be said. And believe me, I say quite a few of them, so I know what I'm speaking of. The beauty of our relationship, the secret sauce is there, but that's not what this particular post is about. Well, so it really wasn't long after, because of COVID, I actually landed at that place a few days before COVID shut everybody down across the world, across the globe. And, you know, it's so vitally important that as we are here to expand our human existence and how to elevate it into this beautiful, universal, divine, conscious way of thinking, living, being, and feeling, that really COVID brought us all together as one for the first time in our entire civilization. Do you understand the breadth of that? Everybody in the world was going through the same exact thing that you were. And it's that is the jumping off point for us to become these true organic humans that are here on earth, and that we represent our divine, that we are their presence on this earth, and that everything we see and do and feel and every way that we act and react is all based on the very fact that we are here on their behalf. And this particular story, it never is a mystery for me. It has never been a mystery for me. When things fall into place, when they are meant to be, and we all have uttered those absolute exact words. Well, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But you know, a lot of times, it's the only time we say it is when something doesn't fall into place. And it's our way of offering comfort and solace to the person who didn't get what their dreams or desires or wishes or goals were. And that is, well, I guess it just wasn't meant to be. Such a negative way of looking at it. Instead, it's not that it wasn't meant to be. It was that it's just not time for it to be. You have to be ready for whatever it is you're looking for, and for whatever it is you desire. You have to be ready for it. And so many times we think we are ready when we're not. And in this particular way, I didn't know what I didn't know. I was so caught up in some serious workplace drama that I and everyone else involved, we were all equally responsible, you see. There is no laying blame. But we were so caught up in it that I needed someone to symbolically slap me across the face to get me out of there. And that happened. And I landed in this wonderful place with these beautiful women, and we all carry the same secret sauce, the same secret ingredient that makes us all the perfect work companions and friends for one another. And after once I landed there, and once we got back on our feet, that as the world started to reopen post-COVID, things were happening within all of our lives at our beautiful little place of work, and we began to show each other just how much we meant to each other and how we could count on one another when any stuff may come across our way. But we didn't need to be in each other's lives on a personal level in order to do so. It's what I like to call unconditional compassion for people everywhere. We didn't have to be, and we don't have to be, completely up on every aspect of our work life, personal lives, in order to be there for one another when some of the crap in life hits the fan, if you will. That is what makes it a unconditional friendship, an unconditional work mate friendship, but it can extend out into everything and everywhere we are. We tend to think that if we don't have a personal relationship with people that cross our lives every day, that we don't even need to acknowledge them when we walk by, do you understand? And it's that way with this type of organic divinity, that you both are living on this planet, and you don't need to know what's going on in their lives to understand and share and show compassion for when there may be hiccups in life, and they are a part of it. And for me, and how this organic divinity started and took that in our workplace, was that because of that surgery, I was not going to be able to work. And so she, due to my needing that particular surgery, I was going to be off of work for about 2 months. And it was because of that actually is what opened the door. It's my just living, right? I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to take 2 months off. Everybody in that salon thought of ways that they could help me out. It was beautiful. And this particular coworker, because she once had surgery that required her to also not work, she knew what it was like. Because for people like us that work in the industries where if you're not working, you are not generating income, that you are physically working that business in order to make money, that when you're not working, you're not making money. And she understood that. And so a couple of days before I left out for the surgery, she left a card for me. And when I got home and read it, she said, when she left it on my station, don't read it till you get home. And when I opened it and read the letter, along with opening it and getting the letter, this amount of cash, a very generous amount of cash, of course, was there. And the letter, the first 2 sentences just made me start crying because it was so beautiful in her intention. And it was, please don't get mad at me for giving this to you, but I prayed on it with God, and I knew that I needed to give it to you. And I was so touched by that on so many levels, that she got me. She understood what that meant for me, which is pretty huge. This beautiful soul knew what it was like. And she wanted me to have this money, this cash. Consciously knew I had to take it, right? Because the intention was so beautiful, and it was a gift from God. It was the organic divinity that blossomed right there, because she knew that it was okay to give it to me, because she also knew the potential of my getting upset that she did. But you see, there was not a second of pride or ego or anything that was attached. That's the beauty of the organic divinity. I knew instantly for where its intention was. And so I finished reading, it's her letter, and she just echoed what I felt, that, we were so blessed by God, all of us that work there, to have this beautiful relationship with one another that has this secret sauce that allows for us to be there when we need it, and to respect one another's personal and private lives. It doesn't get any better than that. As it turned out, and for which I pretty much knew to be the case, I did have some expectations, if you will, that my family, I'm fortunate enough to have quite a bit of family, quite local, that they were going to take care of me. And of course, during COVID, it was only left to really one person, because we couldn't risk, at that point in time, we still couldn't risk, we didn't have any real knowns, and so we couldn't risk any real contact. But I knew that I'd be taken care of, and of course I was. So that cash, which I kept in a jewelry box on my dresser, now my kids, that was the joke, when I shared this beautiful story of organic divinity with them, that they now knew where I kept my mad money. When I was able to get back to work, I wrote my own letter, and I included that same cash in the envelope. And I thanked her from the bottom of my heart, and I explained to her that I didn't need it, that it was there, but my family took care of me, I didn't need it, and therefore I wanted to pass and pay it forward by returning said money with the same intention for her to hold on to and give to someone else who may need it in the future. That is exactly what happened. And it wasn't even a week later that tragedy did happen, and somebody lost a parent, and this beautiful soul grabbed me in the back room and said, I want to give this cash to those children who were left behind. Someone passed, and they have children who loved them, and she wanted them to have this cash, and I couldn't have been happier, and I couldn't have said yes, yes, yes any faster. And I hugged her, and I was like, that's exactly what it is. That's what organic divinity is. I probably did say it then, not 100% sure. And I said, and let's put the message out to the whole team, and let's beef them up, beef that money up. And so that's how we left it. That is what organic divinity is. That's what paying it forward is. And knowing that you don't have to do a whole lot to pay it forward for it to come right back to you. Because it's always the intention that we have to stay focused on. Sometimes we get the wrong idea behind someone's intention, and we allow our pride and or ego to get in the way, and we lose the moments of that beautiful divinity. That just living on this earth, that by just understanding and showing unconditional compassion, she did not give me that money expecting it back. Of course not. I knew that just from the letter, right? Just from her, just when the money fell out, I knew that. And it was the same there, and with me returning it to her. And I knew that there was no question that she would give it to somebody in need, that she wouldn't just keep it, that she would hold on to it until somebody needed it in her life. And boom. And so when you think about these things that can create organic divinity within your own life, I will promise you it happens faster than you could ever possibly imagine. And the more open you are to this organic divinity, then the faster it will happen, because you are instantly overwhelmed when it is in your face, such as it was that second, that moment in time, in that back room, when she said, I want to give that cash to the children left behind. Can you imagine how beautiful that moment from that point on, and what it meant to the individual on our team who have no control of their own, suffered that trauma in many ways unknown. That is the essence of organic divinity, and that really just kind of is one of the first many layers of just how the beauty of it happens without you realizing it. Because in so many ways we've been conditioned to allow our ego and pride to jump in. And once you get a hold of this beauty and you start to feel that in your core, your well-being, and you're happy, you feel it up and down your spine, and you just know. And that is the connection that you are searching for, that will change what you receive when you pray to your divine. For me, it's God. And I pray, and when I do in meditation, I know and I thank them for the clarity and the wisdom and the understanding and the compassion and the love, all of the above. It comes back to me right away. And that is what makes me happy. That is today's message. Please hit that like button and hit the subscribe button to help this channel grow. Send me an email with your story of 500 words or less of organic divinity at yourinterself@organicdivinity.org. Thanks again for your time. I appreciate this exchange, and I look forward to speaking to you again.